Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive.
Glad to be here.
Today we're going to be talking about Christian dating.
Okay.
Specifically, this idea of dating with purpose.
All right.
We are looking at an episode from the Sunshine Inside podcast
Hmm.
called Dating with Purpose, moving beyond just getting to know each other.
Okay.
So it's kind of pushing back against that whole,
Yeah.
let's just see where things go
Right.
approach.
Right.
And I think,
Yeah.
especially within the context of Christian dating, that can be a
Absolutely.
little bit dangerous.
It can be more dangerous than we think sometimes.
Yeah, so you've worked with so many couples navigating this whole world.
Yeah, I have.
What jumps out at you from this title?
Well, I think the Sunshine Inside podcast is really saying that if you're dating as a Christian,
Yeah.
the end goal should be marriage.
Okay.
And not just, to enjoy somebody's company or to just kind of see where things go,
Mm-hmm.
but to actively discern if this person is a potential life partner.
So it's not just about clicking.
Yeah.
It's about, can you
Well,
build a life together?
Can we build a future?
Yeah.
And are we on the same page about the big things like faith and family?
Yeah. That's huge.
That's huge.
And that is,
Yeah.
something that is so central to the Christian faith.
Right.
It's not just like this new idea.
It's not.
It's literally in the Bible.
Exactly.
One of the verses they cite is Genesis 2.24,
Mm-hmm.
which talks about, leaving your family and cleaving to your spouse.
Right.
And that is,
It's a powerful image of commitment
yeah.
and of a covenant relationship, a lifelong covenant.
But how does that then translate into modern dating, where people are dating for years sometimes before they even
That's right.
think about marriage?
That's right. And that's where this
Yeah.
idea of intentionality becomes really important.
Okay.
And they also talk about Romans 1.1, where it talks about the righteous living by faith.
Mm-hmm.
And they apply that to dating and say,
Okay.
if we're trusting God's plan for us,
Yeah.
which includes marriage,
Hmm.
then we should date with that conviction in mind.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So it's like you're stepping into this relationship with faith.
With faith.
That this is
Yeah.
part of a bigger plan.
That's right.
It's not just about you.
Exactly. It's not just about me and my feelings.
Yeah.
It's about God's plan.
God's plan for you.
For me, for us.
Yeah. What other verses do they?
They also talk about 1 Corinthians 7.9,
Okay.
which encourages purity before marriage.
Okay.
And I think, this is not about being restrictive.
Yeah.
I think this is about protecting your heart and making sure that when you do enter into marriage,
Right.
you can give yourself fully
Yeah.
to your spouse, both physically and emotionally.
That's really good. And I think so often that can get lost
It
in
can.
modern culture,
It,
especially,
yeah.
prioritizing that sanctity of marriage
yes.
and how your actions,
Right.
even before you're married, have consequences.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they're really bold in calling out the dangers of casual dating,
Okay.
especially how societal norms often clash
Yeah.
with the biblical model.
That's huge.
They use this term trial marriage.
Trial marriage.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. It's like we're almost pressured to test drive a relationship.
Okay, so
Yeah.
living together or, acting as if you're married before you are
Exactly.
can be actually really misleading and hurtful.
Yeah, because without that shared vision for marriage,
Right.
dating can just kind of devolve into a
That's-
series of disappointments
Yeah.
and unmet expectations.
And that's got to be so painful to go through.
Imagine investing years in a relationship
Yeah.
only to find out that your partner wasn't ever really on board
Ouch.
with the idea of
Yeah.
marriage. And I think particularly within Christian dating,
Oh, absolutely.
that's so central.
So essential.
That commitment to marriage.
Yes.
So it sounds like they offer some concrete steps or guidance
They do.
for navigating these potential pitfalls.
They do. They outline 7 key takeaways
Okay.
to help you approach dating with purpose.
Let's get into those.
All right.
The first one is intentionality in dating.
Right. And that goes back to what we were saying earlier.
Right, yeah.
Dating with purpose means being upfront
Mm-hmm.
about your desire for a lifelong partner,
Okay.
not just someone to hang out with.
So being clear about your intentions from the
Okay,
start.
yeah.
Like not being afraid to,
Yeah, don't be afraid to have those potentially awkward conversations early on.
like,
Where do you see this going? What
Yeah.
are your views on marriage and family?
yeah, are we on the same page?
Yeah, are we on the same page?
Huge.
Yeah.
That's great. And then their second takeaway
Yeah. Okay.
is avoiding trial marriages.
Yes, they caution against blurring the lines between dating and marriage
Right.
before you make a real commitment.
So no moving in together.
Right.
No acting like you're married before you are.
Exactly.
What's the reasoning there?
Well, they argue that,
Yeah.
real faith in God's plan
Mm-hmm.
means trusting that marriage will work
Okay.
when it's built on a solid foundation of commitment,
Not by trying to simulate it beforehand.
not by trying to simulate
Yeah,
that.
it's almost like you're trying to
Exactly.
force it
Yeah.
when it's not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're putting the cart before the horse.
That's good. What's their third takeaway?
Their third takeaway is building a solid foundation,
Okay.
and they stress the importance of a shared faith
Okay.
and a commitment to growing spiritually together.
So it's not enough to just be like, oh, we're both Christians.
It's not enough to just check that box.
Yeah, you need to be actively.
Right. You need to be nurturing
Yeah.
that spiritual connection as a couple.
How would you suggest a couple does that?
Well, they suggest, attending church together,
Okay.
praying together,
Mm-hmm.
engaging in deep faith-based conversations.
So really making that.
Making faith the
Yeah.
bedrock of your relationship.
Yeah, not just like something you happen to
You're not just an afterthought.
have in common.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not something you just do on Sundays.
This is really good.
Yeah.
All right, what's their fourth takeaway?
All right. So their fourth takeaway addresses a situation that a lot of people face.
Okay.
What if they're not ready?
Ooh, that's a big one.
It is.
What happens when,
What happens when you want to get married
Yeah.
and your partner doesn't?
yeah, and it's just not clicking
Right.
for them yet?
Right.
What do you do?
Well, they encourage you to have that courageous conversation
Okay.
about it.
Yeah.
Ask them why they're hesitant.
Okay.
Is it a fear of commitment? Are they unsure about their own readiness?
Right. It's about
It's understanding where they're coming from.
Yeah.
Even if it's not where you are.
Even if it hurts.
Even if it hurts.
Yeah.
And they bring up Proverbs 4.23,
Okay.
which says, above all else, guard your heart.
Ooh, I like that one.
Yeah, and it's a reminder to be wise and discerning
Right.
in relationships.
Yeah.
And if your partner isn't moving towards marriage,
Yeah.
it might be time to step back
Mm.
and reassess.
That's powerful.
It is.
Especially when your faith
Why?
is so intertwined with,
Yeah, your faith is a part of this.
with your vision for a
That's-
relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What's their next piece of advice?
Okay, so number 5 is setting clear boundaries.
Okay. Boundaries.
Yeah, this is all about being upfront.
Okay.
About your expectations and your needs within the relationship.
So you're non-negotiables.
More non-negotiables, exactly.
No, which can be,
Which can be tough.
it can be really hard to do. But it sounds essential
It is, and they encourage you to have those conversations
Yeah.
early on.
early on.
Don't shy away from discussing your boundaries
Right.
regarding physical intimacy,
Yeah.
emotional investment,
Yeah.
and even how you spend your time together.
So it's about setting the stage for.
Setting the stage for
Right.
a relationship built on trust
Yeah.
and mutual respect.
Yeah. Transparency.
Transparency is key.
Love it. Okay. Takeaway number 6.
Okay, number 6 is avoiding prolonged friend zoning.
Okay.
They're talking about the danger of staying in a relationship
Yeah.
that's going nowhere romantically.
Right. And that's got to be so hard
It is.
to admit to yourself sometimes.
It can be,
Yeah.
but they highlight the risk of wasting precious years
Right.
in a relationship
Yeah.
that doesn't align with your desire for marriage.
It's about being honest
Honesty with
Yeah.
yourself and with your partner
Yeah.
about where you stand
about what you want.
and what you truly desire.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. And their final takeaway.
Their final takeaway is preparing yourself.
So they're saying even before you...
Even before you hit the dating scene,
Yeah.
there's work to be done.
There's work to be done. What does that look like?
It's about taking time to reflect
Okay.
on your own readiness for marriage.
Yeah.
Are you truly ready
Yeah.
to commit to another person
Uh-huh.
fully?
Fully. Yeah.
Have you addressed any personal baggage
Mm-hmm.
from past relationships?
Oh, that's huge.
It is.
Because so often we can bring that stuff in.
We do.
Yeah.
We bring our past into our present.
And it can really mess things up.
It can sabotage our
Yeah.
relationships.
So it's not just about finding the right person.
It's not just about finding the right
About
person.
being the right person.
It's about being the right person.
And they emphasize
They do.
deepening your relationship with God.
Yes.
There's a foundation for that.
For a healthy and thriving marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about aligning your heart with God's will for your life.
It is. I love that.
Yeah.
These are so good. These takeaways are packed
Yeah.
with wisdom.
They are.
And then,
And to help you apply these principles to your own life,
okay.
they offer some thought-provoking, real talk questions.
Ooh. Okay, these sound like a
Yeah.
great starting point for our listeners.
They are.
Yeah, what are some of the questions that they pose?
They are designed to really make you think about your approach to dating, like holding up a mirror and
Getting real.
yeah, and seeing if your actions match up with the
Yeah.
principles of purposeful dating.
Mm-hmm.
And their first question cuts right to the heart of it.
Okay.
Do you see this person as a partner for life
Right.
or just someone you enjoy right now?
That's powerful.
It is.
Like you're really looking beyond.
Yeah, you're looking beyond the initial attraction.
Yeah, that initial excitement.
And you're thinking long term.
Long term, yeah.
Envision a future.
It's easy to get caught up.
It is,
And then,
especially in the beginning.
yeah, just like the newness of it.
The butterflies, the excitement.
Yeah.
But this question brings you back down to earth.
Yeah, for sure.
Makes you think about the big picture.
Okay, what's the next question?
Right, the next question is, have you discussed faith, family, and life goals?
Okay, so this is going beyond,
Yeah, this is going beyond
like the surface level.
the surface level conversations
Yeah.
about hobbies and favorite movies and, what kind of pizza you like.
Yeah.
This is about digging deeper
Yeah.
into those core values
Yeah.
and aspirations that will ultimately
Right.
shape your life together.
Yeah. Are you on the same page about faith?
Right. Do you
Yeah.
have a similar vision for family?
Yeah. What are your goals?
What are your goals?
Where do you want?
What do you want your life to look like?
Yeah, in 5 years and 10 years.
In 20 years?
Yeah. Are
Are we moving in the same direction?
on the same trajectory? Okay, this is great. All right, what's the third question?
All right, so question number 3 is... Okay.
Are you clear about boundaries and intentions?
Okay. We're coming back to those.
We're coming back to boundaries.
Yeah, those conversations that are so important.
Yes, because they're crucial
Mm-hmm.
for a healthy relationship.
Yeah.
Being open and honest about your expectations,
Yeah.
your comfort levels,
What you're okay with.
yeah, what you're okay with, what you're not okay with,
Yeah.
and where you see the relationship heading.
So you're not having those misunderstandings.
Right, you're preventing misunderstandings
Yeah.
and hurt feelings down the road.
So transparency and communication.
Oh,
Crucial.
absolutely.
All right, they've got one more question for us.
They do, and this one's a gut check.
Oh, okay, lay it on me.
Okay. Are you dating in a way that builds towards marriage
Okay.
or one that leaves room for compromise and heartbreak?
Wow. That one makes you think.
It does.
Are we on the right track?
Are we on the right track? Are my actions
Yeah.
aligning with my desire for a committed,
Mm-hmm.
God-honoring relationship? So it's a real call to action to be intentional.
It is.
Yeah, in every aspect.
Be intentional, be purposeful.
Yeah.
Don't just go through the motions.
Don't just coast.
Don't coast.
Yeah.
Be active in shaping your dating life.
Be present.
Be present.
I love that.
Yeah.
So they don't just leave us with these
No, they just
challenging questions.
No.
They also kind of give us what's next.
They do. Their call to action
Right.
is simple but profound.
Okay.
Deepen your walk with God.
Okay.
They urge you to invite the Holy Spirit
Mm-hmm.
to guide your heart
Yeah.
and help you make decisions that are rooted in faith and love.
So not just based on
Not just based on fleeting feelings.
yeah, or,
Or the heat of the moment.
cultural pressures or what have you.
Right, exactly.
So we're talking about seeking God's wisdom
Yes.
throughout.
Throughout the whole process,
Yeah.
not just when you're facing a big decision.
Yeah, I love that. So it's about aligning your desires with God's will
It is.
for your life.
Yeah. And trusting that He will lead you to the right person
That's so good.
at the right time.
That's so reassuring.
It is.
Because I feel like so much of dating advice
Yes.
is about finding the one.
It's about finding the one.
And this is about
It's about becoming the one
yeah,
that God wants you to be.
and that benefits every area of your life,
Absolutely.
That-
Not
that-
just your romantic life,
Yeah.
but your whole life.
your whole life.
Your relationship with God, your relationship with yourself.
I love that. And that's so important for
Yeah.
anyone, even if they're not
That's right.
actively dating.
This call to action is for everyone
Yeah.
who desires
A
that
God-centered
centered relationship.
relationship. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so to kind of sum up what we've talked about
Okay.
today,
Yep.
we looked at
We dove into,
7 key takeaways.
Right.
We looked at those.
yeah, those thought-provoking real talk questions.
Yeah, for listeners to kind of
To reflect on
reflect on. Yeah.
their own dating experiences.
And now they're calling us to
They're calling us to
deepen our walk with God.
deepen our walk with God.
So I love how they've given us all this practical stuff.
Me too.
And then they're like,
And they're like, go deeper.
yeah,
with God.
Like the source.
Go to the source
Yeah.
of all love and wisdom.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
This has been so good.
it has.
I always learn so much from you.
It's a pleasure to be here.
And to our listener,
Yes.
we hope that this has given you some really valuable insights,
Absolutely.
and maybe some tools,
Practical tool.
yeah, to approach Christian dating
Yes.
with intention and with faith and
With an open
Yeah.
heart. With an open heart.
an open heart.
Yeah.
So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive into dating with purpose,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just thinking about all the wisdom that we've talked about.
Yeah, it's been a really interesting conversation.
It has. We've talked about intentionality.
Yeah.
We've talked about the biblical basis for this.
Mm-hmm. And those real talk questions.
Yeah. Yeah, those were really good.
Yeah, thought-provoking.
It made me realize there's so much more to learn about
There.
approaching dating in a way that really
In a way that honors God.
honors God and
It sets us up for success.
and leads to really fulfilling
Yes.
relationships.
It's an ongoing process.
It is. It is.
You know, we're always
Yeah.
learning and growing.
So if we could sit down with the hosts of the
Yeah.
Sunshine Inside podcast,
Yeah.
what would be one question you'd ask them about dating with purpose?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
You know what really stuck out to me
Yeah.
was their emphasis on inviting the Holy Spirit
Mm-hmm.
into the dating process.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear more about how they practically apply that in their own lives.
Yeah, because it's one thing to say it,
Right.
but how do you actually live that out?
Right. How do you actually discern God's voice
Yeah.
when you're in the middle of all of this?
Especially with all those emotions.
All those emotions, all the
Yeah.
pressures.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. So I'd be curious to hear
Yeah.
about specific moments where they felt like
Right.
God was leading them in their relationships.
Oh, that would be so good.
Yeah. Or even times when they had to make a tough decision
Yeah.
based on that guidance.
Yeah. I think for our listener too,
Absolutely.
to hear those real life examples.
Real life examples.
Yeah, of how faith is actually playing out
Yeah.
in the messy world of dating.
Because it is messy.
It is.
It's not always neat and tidy.
It's not a formula.
No.
Yeah.
It's a relationship.
It's a relationship.
It's a journey.
It's a journey, exactly. And sometimes
Yeah.
the path is not clear.
That's right.
Yeah. So to hear how other people have walked that is so encouraging.
It is. It's encouraging.
Yeah. So we've talked a lot about dating with purpose,
We have.
about how faith can really guide us
Yeah.
towards love.
Towards a love that aligns with God's will for our lives.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, this has been so good.
It has.
I always love these conversations with you.
Always a pleasure.
And to our listener,
Yeah.
we hope that you feel
Empowered.
empowered.
Yeah.
And maybe even a little bit inspired
Was inspired.
to approach Christian dating.
With intentionality, with faith,
Yeah.
and with an open heart.
Yeah. Remember, true love is worth waiting for.
It is.
And it's a journey best traveled with God as your guide.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We'll see you next time for another one.